In November 1953, a respected American scientist fell from the 13th floor of a New York hotel. The government called it suicide. His family called it murder. And more than 70 years later, the CIA still hasn't told the full truth. This is the story of Frank Olson, the man who knew too much. Frank Olson was not a spy. He was not a criminal. He was a father of three, a brilliant scientist, and a proud American. He worked for the U.S. Army at Fort Detrick, Maryland, a top-secret biological research facility. On the surface, his job was to protect America, to develop defenses against biological weapons. But inside the walls of Fort Detrick, something far darker was happening. Frank Olson knew about it, and that knowledge would ultimately cost him his life. In the early 1950s, the CIA launched one of the most disturbing and controversial programs in its history. It was called Project MKUltra. The goal? Simple, but terrifying: to control the human mind. CIA scientists experimented with LSD, hypnosis, and psychological manipulation, not on criminals, not on enemies, but on ordinary American citizens, without their knowledge, without their consent. Frank Olson was one of the scientists involved. He traveled to Europe. He witnessed interrogations. He saw things no human being should ever have to see. And somewhere along the way, something changed. Frank Olson began to question everything. He wanted out. He wanted to expose the truth. And that may have been his biggest mistake. On November 18, 1953, just days before his death, Frank attended a secret CIA meeting at a lodge in Deep Creek Lake, Maryland. What happened there would change everything. Without his knowledge, his drink was spiked with LSD by CIA officer Sidney Gottlieb. For days after, Frank was confused, paranoid, terrified. He told his wife Alice something was deeply wrong. He told his boss he wanted to resign. The CIA sent him to New York, supposedly to see a psychiatrist. He was checked into room 1018A of the Statler Hotel. His CIA handler, Robert Lashbrook, shared the room with him. And then, on the night of November 28, 1953, Frank Olson fell through a closed window. From the 13th floor, he died on impact. The official report said suicide. But here is what doesn't add up. Number one, the window was closed. If someone jumps from a window, they open it first. Frank went through the glass. That means he was thrown with enormous force. Number two, there was a cut above his eye before he fell. The CIA's own documents, declassified decades later, show that Lashbrook called his supervisor immediately after Frank fell. Not 911, not the hotel desk, his CIA supervisor. Why? Number three, in 1994, Frank's family demanded his body be exhumed. A forensic expert, Dr. James Starrs of George Washington University, examined the remains. His conclusion? The injury above Frank's eye was consistent with a blunt force blow to the head before the fall. Frank Olson was knocked unconscious first, then thrown out the window. This was not suicide. This was murder. Part 2 is coming this Friday. Subscribe now so you don't miss the truth they tried to bury forever. The vault is not yet closed.